Uh, Good evening, all the participants who have just joined. So we'll just wait for 5 minutes for others to join, and then we'll start the session at 4:05. Okay, so welcome to all of you. Welcome all the participants who have joined this session for how 3D technologies are changing the healthcare sector. So today we'll talk about the products, the 3D products that we as an organization we provide solution into the healthcare sector, whether it is related to the hospital, for educational, or for medical devices, or even for the surgical plans. So today we'll look upon that how these 3D printing technologies, 3D scanner technologies, and 3D design technologies. So overall, these how these all this technology can get fit into a single workflow, and how this technology can be useful into the healthcare sector. So I'll just introduce myself. I am Saksham Rastogi. I am a senior application engineer for additive manufacturing, and I work with Eltum, and we provide the 3D solutions into various for the various industries. So just to introduce about the organization, we as an Eltum we have started in 2011, and it's been more than 10 years now. And since then, the organization has been able to bag many prestigious awards from many of the industry leading award ceremonies. So we have awards, we won awards from for SME, for Small Giant Award, Frost and Sullivan. We have been a highest business growth award for 3D printing by Stratasys. And we have even won the award for Platinum Partner by Dassault Systems for CAD solutions. And we, as an innovation company, we provide a complete 3D innovation platform solutions, uh, whether it is related to the engineering and manufacturing or healthcare sector, and even for life sciences. So we have the solutions for designing from Dassault Systems. Then we have the scanning and reverse engineering solutions from Artec 3D. Then for 3D printing, we are associated for polymer with Stratasys, and then we have a metal 3D printer solutions from Intech, and even for life sciences and healthcare, we have solutions like Discovery Studio from BioVia Solutions from Dassault Systems, and we even have the Bio 3D printer from Celltech, a Bioco company. So if we talk about our customer portfolio, so these are some of the partial customers that we have served over the years, whether it is related to the education and research for the engineering colleges or for the medical colleges, and even into the healthcare sector. If you look upon, we have served companies, medical device companies like Medtronic, Covidien, GE Healthcare, and Lexer company, and even into the hospitals, we have served to AIMS New Delhi. AIMS New Delhi is a customer, and they have 3D printers. And even for the dental, we have the customers like a 3D FT and the JJ Orthodontics. So apart from the healthcare, we have served into many other industries, 3D printer solutions, 3D scanner solutions, and 3D design solutions. And we have a team of with very good expertise in all these categories. So if we talk about the journey of using the 3D technologies into the healthcare sector. It starts from the scarcity of the calibers or the expensive prices or the scarcity and the availability of calibers in our country, which takes about a very significant time and cost to obtain it, store it, and uh, plan your preclinical test or the skill development trainings to the students in a controlled environment. So because of the expensive cadavers, the scarcity of them, and the social norm issues, okay, so it takes a lot of time to obtain and store and plan the clinical test and the educational models inside the lab inside a controlled environment, and this has been a very root cause for the underskilled students and to get the 3D hands-on training. So because of these issues, because the difficult access of the expensive human cadavers, which takes a lot of protocols from the government to obtain it, it takes a lot of time, and it slows down the process for the medical device companies and even to the hospitals where they run the educational courses, and they need the human anatomies or the animal anatomies to train the students on the particular subject. So but what if you can fabricate on demand? Okay, so we have the technologies using which you can fabricate on demand purpose, and you can fabricate any anatomy. So we can fabricate any anatomy using our 3D printer here. So you can see some images. You can see the different anatomies of the human body. So for example, like we can print the kidney with the tumor, which you can see through the clear material of the kidney that how deep is the kidney. Okay, what is the size of the kidney? Which portion I need to cut out of the kidney to get out of the tumor, and we can even make the neurological anatomy models to understand the very complex structures of the human anatomy or the animal anatomy. So and even for the brain surgeries, which are very complex, spinal surgeries, cardiac surgeries, so the surgeries for the surgical plannings or even for the medical device testings, for the preclinical medical device testing, so we can make the on-demand anatomy of any segment of the from the body, whether it is related to human or for the animals, and we can 3D print on demand for any disease related or for any anatomy related structure. So let's see what are the solutions and what are the technologies that we have available with us on 3D printing. So for 3D printings, we offer two technologies here. First is the fused deposition modeling, which is we call the FDM technology. So it's a single material technology where we use the thermoplastic filament, which is heated to a semi-liquid state, and it extrudes the material through a computer-controlled tool paths, and it consists of two nozzles. One is for model and one is for support. So with the model material, you can input materials like the ABS, ASA, PLA, carbon fiber composite materials, or PCA-based composite material, nylon composite materials. You can use any kind of these materials, and the support structures that we use through the support nozzles are soluble support systems. So for the structures to make the anatomies, which consist of very intricate details, overhang structures, and the organic shapes, there the support structure which forms out, it is a soluble material. So once the soluble material gets dissolved out, you will get your final structure. So you can see on your screen the images of the skull and the maxillofacial area. Okay, so these are the complex structures which requires a lot of support systems to cover up the intricate details. Okay, so after washing out the support systems, you can get the clean models like this, which will be helpful. Another one is the polyjet modeling. Sorry. So the second technology, which I was talking about, the PolyJet technology, which is a multi-material technology. So in this technology, we use the photopolymeric resin material, okay, which gets solidified under the UV exposure. So in this technology, we mix up the 6 or 7 materials at a time, and we can create the color combinations of more than 5 lakh plus color combinations and unlimited material combinations in the same part. So for example, if I want to make an anatomy structures for the cardiac surgery or for the kidney surgery or even for the brain surgery, so I can mimic the exact biomechanical properties by varying the Shore values. So Shore values we vary to give the elastomeric properties, whether I want the soft material property or hard material property. So the PolyJet technology can be used to vary down the elastomeric properties, and hence we can use it for the healthcare sector to make any anatomy structure. So for example, like you can see on your screen, that if I want a structure of the complete from head to neck, I can make the outer skin structure and the bone structure with the rigid material, and at the same time I can make the tissue structures or the organ structures like the brain, the tissues, the cartilages, and all the tissues connected with the spinal bone. So I can make the soft structure and the hard structure into a single part at a single time by mixing up the 7 materials at once. And this is how PolyJet 3D printing has been very useful to many hospitals and medical device companies to test out their to either test out their for preclinical testings or for the surgical plannings, and even to make the surgical simulators. So how this 3D printing technology can be used into the hospitals or into the patient point of care or for the medical device companies. So first of all, we take the data into different forms. So one form is to take the data from the CT and the MRI scans. Okay, so from any radiology department, from any radiology process like CT, MRI scan, or the CBCT scans for the dental. So once we get the data into the DICOM format, that format we import into a 3D data preparation software, which is a medical IP software. And in this software, we convert the DICOM data into a 3D form data. Okay, and in this software, we can define anatomy, exact anatomy which I want to extract out, exact segment of the anatomy which I want to extract out. So, for example, if I just want the half portion of the kidney, okay, where I can see the cross sections of the kidney plus tumor. Okay, so I can even look out the model. I can also prepare the model in that way into the software itself. So this software is a very high advanced tool with artificial intelligence, which makes the process very easier and faster. After we convert this data, DICOM data, into the STL files, into the 3D STL files, then this 3D STL files we segment it. So, for example, if I want to make the kidney tumor and the blood vessels which are connected with the kidney, okay, I want to make the whole portion of that in a single anatomy. So I can segment tumor as a different part, kidney as a different part, and the blood vessels as a different part. So all these segments can be defined as a single STL file and can be exported into the 3D file. After this 3D file is prepared, I can export this file into our GrabCAD print software, which is a printer preparation software for Stratasys. In this software, I can input them what are the materials I require, what color combinations I require, what hard value and what soft value I require it for the kidney, for the tumor, or for the blood vessels. After that, I prepare the model into the preparation software. Then I can send it for the 3D printing. So I can make the models like this one. So you can see on the screen, so this is the model of the lung, where I have defined the outer structure of the lung with the clear material, but the inside structure, all the nerves or the passages with the red color, and the outer structure of the air passage with the blue color. The second form of data, the second form of input data that we can get is through the 3D scanner. Now with this 3D scanner, we can take the data of the outside surface of the human body, or any living body. Okay, so for example, if I want to make a reconstruction surgeries, for example, like this, if the patient loses one eye, and if I want to make the reconstruction treatment plan treatment plan for the patient, I can just get the 3D scan data of the patient. Then this 3D scan data I can convert it into a solid form. Okay, I can prepare some treatment plan over the surface. I can 3D print it, and then I can do the surgical planning over that, which can help me to visualize that how complex, what tools I need to use it, how much time it will take to do the surgery for the particular patient. So the surgeons will be prepared before going into the operation room. The surgeons will be prepared that how many tools they have to use it, how much time it will take to complete that surgery, and they can save the blood loss for the patient. They can save the post-operative surgery risk. So this is how we can use it, and this 3D scanner can also be used it to for the prosthetic and orthotic applications. So this is the workflow, and this is how we convert the 3D scan data or the DICOM data to 3D data. So once we convert these data, we can 3D print any structure. So there are no limitations as per the size or as per the geometry form to print any part. We can print the bone structure, tissue structure, organ structure, or any outside or any medical device structures like the prosthetic orthotics, orthopedic insoles also in the flexible materials. So I'll show you some examples of how we do it. So this is, before showing you about the 3D printer, this is, I just want to show you that how do we convert the DICOM data into 3D STL data. So this is the software called Medical IP. It's an imaging software which also helps to convert the data into 3D form and to export that file into STL format for 3D printing application. So you have seen that how we can use this our very strong tool from the medical IP software, where we just draw a segment, a section in one of the views of like the kidney. Okay, we just draw with the pencil, and it will detect the growing region of it. And as per the density of the kidney, as per the fluid density of the kidney, it will detect those areas which are connected with it, and it will form out the shape into the 3D form. And this 3D form is the this 3D shape is formed with the stack of the all the layers that we capture through the CT and MRI scan. So as higher the resolution of this data of this radiology data, the finer the data that we will get as a 3D output. So as per this 3D output, what we can do the applications with this 3D data. So with this 3D data, I can use it to make the surgical planning for the patient specific. So for example, as you can see on the screen that it's a surgery, it's an example of twins of sisters who have the twin heads joined together. Okay, and it's a very complex surgery where the surgeons needs to understand and the connections between the two brains, what are the brain nerves are connected together, where they want to dissect it, and where you are and where the complexity is more. And this kind of complex cases is very hard to understand for the surgeons and takes a lot of time for the surgeons to plan the surgery, okay, using the only 2D data. So once the surgeons have the 3D data, they can understand in the 3D form, and they can also do the surgery planning by using the tools. They can do the discussions, they can do the diagnosis, and they can get the more understanding before they go into the operation room. This helps to reduce the surgery time and improve the clinical outcomes. The second exercise, the second application that we can do with this 3D data is to create the skilling models and the surgical simulators. So this so as you can see on this picture, this is a surgical training simulator for the dissectomy at the lumbar area. Okay, so as you can see that for such a particular skilling models or a surgical simulator models, okay, we most of the colleges in the hospitals are dependent over the cadavers and the medical device companies also. So for the medical device companies also, where they want to do the preclinical testings on a particular for their surgery device or for their medical device, and they need the particular anatomy structure, okay, where that medical device will give will be tested out. Okay, so for that one, they have to arrange the cadavers, which takes a lot of time to complete the government norms and everything. Okay, meanwhile, if you choose to 3D paint it, it can be done within a day, and the next day you can start doing your activity and you can get the faster outcomes. Okay, for the hospitals and for the colleges, for such kind of the surgical training models, you can replicate the true disease state model on demand. Okay, so for example, if you're giving the training to the students about the cardiac surgery or the neurology surgery, or related to the oncology surgery. Okay, so for such kind of complex cases where you want to replicate the true disease state, okay, and in that condition it is very hard to find out the cadaver who was suffering from the exact disease state, and it remains in a in that condition, in a good condition, in the required condition, where you can teach out the students, okay, with the exact that how to treat this kind of disease, okay, what kind of tools to be used and what practices that they have to do it over the model. So the replication of the true disease state model for any on demand makes a very good applications for the skilling models and for the surgical simulators, where we use the polyjet technology with our multi-material, where we can make the soft and the hard tissue simultaneously. The third application that we can do is the devices for the patient specific. So for example, patient specific implants, we can make it. So we can use the 3D printing technology like FDM and Polyjet to make to make the fitment structure. So for example, if I'm making the implant for the spinal, okay, I can make the patient specific spinal structure with 3D printing. And when my implant is manufactured in the titanium material, I can check the fitment of it. I can check that what kind of tools I need to be used to cut out the section and to fit the implant, and how to screw the implant also. Okay, so where to screw the implant, how to screw the implant, where to which portion I need to cut out to fit the implant. So all these activities and exercises, if we can do in the 3D form, that gives a better results, and it gives a more successful outcome during the surgery. So, like we were talking about the polyjet technology. So this is the technology, okay, where where the small jets injects the UV light material, okay, and this material can mix up with the seven materials at once to form the hard and soft tissues with multiple color combinations. And as you can see on the photo, we in a single model we can combine all these properties. Like we can make the skin with the soft tissue, skull with hard material, nerves with again with the soft tissue, teeth with hard material, and spinal with a combination of the hard and the soft material. So using this technology, we can make any kind of the anatomy. So we can make the anatomies like for the neurosurgery, where I want to make the complex brain, where I want to treat out the complex brain surgeries, or want to make the skilling models for neurosurgery, implant surgery models, maxillofacial, cardiovascular, digestive system, urology, musculoskeletal. So for musculoskeletal also, it can mimic the density. You can also define the how much the density inside the bone that you want to convey. So from the CT scan, the MRI scans, okay, which can give you the density input from the DICOM data. So that output, that DICOM data can also be converted to 3D data, where you can also 3D print exact density of the bone model, so that the surgeons and the practitioners can get the more understanding about the disease state, and they can know about what tools they need to be used for the surgical planning. So if we talk about some examples, so this is one of the examples from the AIIMS New Delhi, from the Department of Urology, okay, and this is a case where they have 3D printed about, they have 3D printed for many patient for the complex surgery. So in this data, you can see that this is the data of about 13 patients having the renal nephrometry, and which more than 8, which was very high complexity, and they have been gone under the successful operation for the nephrectomy treatment by making the 3D printed model. So as you can see on the screen that the different kidney models have been 3D printed, and you can see the real, you can also see on the right side that this is the real structure. You can see the 3D printed model and the actual kidney which was dissected out with a condition of tumor. So this 3D printed models can help you to understand about the tumors, that how big the tumor is, how deep the tumor is, how the tumor is connected with the organ, what tissues have been damaged because of the tumor, and how you want to convey that surgery, okay, by with the understanding of the 3D model. So this 3D model helps out in a many way to the surgeons and to the patients also. So these are some more examples. So this is the from the left side, you can see this is for the shoulder replacement surgery. As you can see, this is the bone model. This is the case for a patient who was 62-year-old and had a history of shoulder joint replacement surgery in the Army Hospital, Delhi. The second one is about the cranial implant surgery for Coimbatore. As you can see, that this is the 3D printed model, okay, and how this 3D printed model has been used to understand about the complexity and how the implant will be fitted over the for the patient. Then the another case you can see from the Ludhiana Mediwas Hospital for the pulmonary arteriovenous malformation, where the patient was suffering with uh, the blood to enter into the heart and without collecting up the oxygen. And for such kind of the models, you can see the complexity of the structure. Even it is made on in the small scale model, you can see that how the complex the model is, but how much it is useful when you have a 3D printed model in the hand. Then another case is for the cardiac surgery for a pediatric from Thrissur. Okay, so this is also one of the example where the 3D model has helped to understand the surgeons about the complexity of the surgery, about the complexity of the case, and it helped to reduce down the surgery time and the post surgery operative risk. And the another technology that we have is the fused deposition modeling. So in this technology, we use the single material technology. And in this technology, we use the thermoplastic filament, which
of the part.
goes into the extruder head. So the extruder head consists of two nozzle heads. One is for the model material and one is for the support material. So the model material extrudes the so the model extruder, model material model extruder extrudes the model material, and the support extruder extrudes the support material. So as you can see on the screen, the white material is the support structure and it's a soluble support structure. So as you can see on the screen, these are the complex structures which can be 3D printed and it can also be used for the medical device companies to make the prototypes. Okay, so for the initial design iterations where you want to test out your medical device for the fitment, for the complete fitment, for the formal fit check, or for the design validations, and even for the preclinical testings. So you can use these materials for the preclinical testings also. So this is the example from the Medtronics, where you can see on the screen it's a surgical ratchet. So you can see the CAD design which was designed. Then you can see the 3D printed model, and you can see the final model. Okay, so this model has been 3D printed using the PCISO material, which is a USB Classic certified, and the Medtronics uses this technology to develop their medical devices and the surgical instruments using the FDM technology and the PolyJet technology. This is another example from the IIT Bombay. It's from the Batic Lab. So Batic Lab is a startup, and is funded to many colleges, to many education colleges who focuses to develop the medical devices for the healthcare sector, whether it can be a medical device or a surgical device or even your implant structures also. Okay, so IIT Bombay, GH Raisoni, Symbiosis, these are some of the centers, some centers which was funded through the BETIC scheme. And the agenda of this scheme for the IIT Bombay is to develop the indigenized medical devices, indigenized surgical instruments, which we currently import from outside, which are very expensive into the Indian market. So as you can see on your screen, this is the medical device. You can see the 3D printed models and the final model, which was manufactured after all the approvals and has been commercialized. So you can see they have used the ABS ASM material and the M30i PCSO material for the patient contact application. So we have the materials which are compatible for the patient contact application also. So after making the prototype, you can test out these devices in the real time with the patients. This is another case study for the medical device. So it's a psych medical, it's a drug delivery system. Okay, so such kind of complex devices which are small in size and which are complex, which consist of the some engineering mechanism. Okay, to work out those medical devices. So in such cases also we can use this technology. So in this case they have used the PolyJet technology, and the challenge is to complete the product cycle within the 6 weeks. Okay, by using the strategist PolyJet technology, they have been able to complete their design cycle within the 2 weeks of time, which saves up about the 80% of the design development and the product development time for them. This psych inhaler this is the psych inhaler, which has been used for the patients who have been suffering from the extreme neuropathic pain. Okay, so it's a drug delivery system which precisely controls the doses of cannabis for relief while avoiding the unnecessary physical reactions. Okay, so such kind of the complex medical devices can also be made using the 3D printer. This is another example for the medical device companies. This is one of the companies situated it's an Indian company called Labomed. It's situated in Hyderabad. And this is the company who do the research and development towards the high-end ophthalmic diagnostic devices, which can be used. So devices like the microscope, slit lamp, surgical microscope, or the devices which can be used for the pharmaceutical and bioengineering, gynecological industries. So since 2006, Labomed making high quality products by making and their design iteration cycle has become very faster since they have used and since they have adapted the FDM 3D printed technology from Stratasys. The lead time and cost, you can see on the screen that how much of the lead time and the cost they have saved during their prototype stage, and you can see the prototype samples of their microscope devices. So you can see on the screen that these devices are strong enough where you can where you can integrate all the components together, and you can test out your device in the real time for the preclinical test before you get the approval for commercialize. This is another example for medical device company called Oxion. So this is a company who make the patient specific implants, okay, or or such medical devices, such medical instruments or the medical tools which can be used for the operation purposes or for the hospital purposes. So as you can see on the screen that they make the patient specific models, like for the maxillofacial patient specific implant. They can make the both anatomy and the implant model, okay, and they can get the fitment study check before they actually manufacture with the titanium material. They have also, as you can see on the screen, they have also made a casing for the power tool. So for the power tool, where you require the good strength, good impact resistant properties, and it has to be a very good wear resistant property also. So this kind of the prototypes, which are working tools, can also be made with the ABS material with the FDM technology. So such kind of the devices can also be generated by using this technology, and you can test out this for the fitment studies and even for the trial purposes. Then another case study is for the surgical planning. Okay, so we have the 3D scanner, which are from the Artec 3D, which is a Luxembourg-based company, and this is a handheld 3D scanner. It's the fastest 3D scanner in the industry. And we have done some case studies. We have provided the support to some hospitals. So, for example, recently we have done this exercise in AIIMS New Delhi and the Maulana Azad, where we have scanned the patients with the black fungus, okay, and which is a side effect of the COVID treatment and has a fatality rate of 50%. Okay, so because of this side effect, the patients have suffered from the black fungus disease, which uh, which which leads to a very severe maxillofacial damage. Okay, so using the 3D scan data of the patient, we can design the prosthesis and we can fabricate those prostheses for the rehabilitation patients who have lost or faced the severe damage to the maxillofacial regions. And another example for the cleft lid surgery, so surgery for a pediatric, where we can process the treatment with the 3D design tools on the software, and we can come up with a treatment plan where the doctors can understand how to trim the tissue, okay, where they need to join the lips together, and how they can proceed it for the very successful surgery in a single shot, or with a very less or with a very less number of the surgeries for such kind of the patient. Because for children, the such kind of surgeries becomes very complex. So a non-contact 3D scanner has been very useful, and it has been a successful treatment case study. We can also do the flexible materials. So for the flexible materials, we can do the orthopedic insoles. Okay, so for the patient treatment purposes, we can make the orthopedic insoles where we can vary the density, okay, throughout the structure. So for example, with our flexible material and our slicing software technology, where we can define out the density areas, different density areas into the insole, and we can make the patient specific insoles by getting the 3D scan. With the 3D scan, we can convert that data into 3D structure in the 3D design, and that 3D design can be 3D printed. So we can make the patient specific orthopedic insoles also, which are customizable as per the patient, and we can provide this treatment to the patient directly. Also, for the rehab centers, we can make the hand splints, we can make the hand socket, leg socket, or any kind of the prosthetic and orthotic devices. So this is a case study for the Center of Incubation, Innovation Research and Consultancy from Bengaluru. And this is a customized 3D printed splint. So as you can understand that the splints are also available as a general device in the rehabilitation centers, but with the help of the 3D scanner, 3D design CAD tool, and the 3D printer, we can make the customized prosthetic orthotic devices, as you can see in the on your screen. So this is the case for the juvenile arthritis for a children who was suffering from the disability of autoimmune disease, and his age was less than 16. Okay, and in such cases where the inflammation to the tissue or to the skin is very high, we can make a non-contact kind of we can make a non-contact kind of the hand splint by taking the scan of the data of the patient of the hand, and we can design this over the surface the any kind of the device. So we can design the hand splint, hand socket, leg socket, headgear, neck braces, spinal braces, any kind of the prosthetic and orthotic device. We can manufacture it as an end use part for the patient treatment case. So if we summarize all the technologies of 3D scanner, 3D design, and the 3D printer, then all the stakeholders from the healthcare sector can get the benefits, and also it provides the indirect benefits to the patients also. So for example, so for to the hospitals where we can use this technology, where we are given these technologies. So using this technology, you can spend the less time in the operating room. So for the surgical planning, once you know with the surgical plan that what kind of tools you are going to use, what step by step you are going to do the diagnosis and the treatment plan. So that helps you to do the operation in a less amount of time. Okay, that increases the operation success also, that improves the procedure outcomes, and that also heightens the clinical preparedness. Okay, so in during the operation time, you are already prepared that what drug, what instruments, and what process you have to take when you are treating the patient into the surgery room. For the patients, that they will get the benefit indirectly is the reduction of the surgery time. Okay, reduction the risk of the repeated surgery, reduction of the post operative risk, and the reduction in the recovery time. The patient's recovery time can get faster. Okay, as related to the success of the surgery. Then the patient also faces the reduction in the blood loss, and reduction in the consumption of anesthesia, and the uh, faster detection and the development into the patient. Then for the medical devices, this technology can benefit for the better preclinical device testings, because once you make a prototype, you can also make an on-demand anatomy to test your medical instrument or surgical instrument, so that you can get the better preclinical device testing results. You can make the rapidly a cost-effective development process by using the 3D printing technology. You can get the higher performance and the faster iteration and the shorter cycle during the design development. So these are the benefits that hospitals, patients, and the medical devices can get by using the 3D technologies into the healthcare sector. So, thank you everyone for joining this session and getting a glimpse of how these 3D printing technologies, how these 3D technologies like 3D scanner, 3D design CAD tools, and the 3D printer can be used into the healthcare sector for surgeons, for patients, and for the medical device companies. So if you have any requirement, if you want to know more about these technologies, please feel free to write us. This is the mail ID, or you can also write down to our post on LinkedIn or to our website. So thank you everyone, and have a good evening.